people's art. Tattooing as a people's art and as a tradition is awesome. Also, the ways of learning it is awesome. It's the very old way when you have like master and teacher, right?
Yeah.
That's how it's the best way to learn.
Yes.
It's been hacked. People learn from YouTube. Like you and you. People learn it on forums. People learn it on their own. And now there's things like tattoo schools pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Quick opinion on that. Should it be there or should it not be there? I'll start with my opinion.
Okay.
I think it would be awesome if it would be there by good artists, and then it would be a good school, because like in my opinion it will happen anyway, so it could have been done awesome, because but it will never happen because those artists don't have time to teach schools.
Also, one aspect of the two schools is that they don't evaluate the personality of a person who wants to be a tattooer, and that's like a really important subject because there's so many assholes in tattooing, you know. And when you go to a tattoo school, you can be an asshole, you can be a dick, whatever, you know, you can be a bad person, but you're still gonna have a chance to learn to be a tattooer, and then you're gonna you're gonna learn tattooing.
Get the paper.
Yeah, get the paper and then be an asshole tattooer, like so many people out there, you know. But if you go to a tattooer and really want to learn tattooing, that's one of the most important aspects, your personality, I think. So, I mean, that's like one of the major differences, you know, because tattoo school, it's a business. You pay and you do it, you know. They don't care about
Also,
who you are.
Another aspect is that those tattoo schools are not like 2 years or 1 year. They're like 2 months and
Exactly.
and here you go.
You get the paper and that's it. You can open your shop. You can do whatever you want. You can be asshole to people. You can ruin someone's life, whatever, you know, but there's a small chance you will be able to do it and be an asshole if you have learned it properly, you know. It's, of course, I understand it's like really silly for me to judge anyone because the way I learned, I didn't have any apprenticeship or anything, you know. I learned it on my own.
But you also admit that that was the long way.
That was the long way, you know. And I'm definitely happy that I did it the long and the hard way, you know. But I've always taken in mind that, you know, like how you treat people and how you look at yourself as a tattooer is like one of the most important things, you know. And just there's someone who has like financial possibilities, you know. It's like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna be a tattooer. He goes to tattoo school. He goes there, he goes for a lesson, he goes home, you know, like the persons who are teaching him, they don't have anything to do with the person's private life, you know. But still, if you have an apprenticeship, you're master, you know.
That's our thoughts only because we don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know the tattoo schools. We don't know anyone who finished them.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's like a logical point of view. It's a logical idea, you know. It's not gonna be a thing that you go to a tattoo school and they evaluate your personality. You do like a psychological test or whatever.
Yeah, like, do you deserve to be here?
You can go to a tattoo shop. You can start your apprenticeship. But if the master if your teacher gonna recognize you as a bad person after a couple months, you're gonna be kicked out, and that's a normal thing.
Or if you will be too lazy or irresponsible. Or
exactly,
something.
yeah, and I mean. That was one of the most important thing when we were looking for our apprentice in our shop, like personality.
What was it? Personality,
yeah. Dedication, personality. It all comes together, you know. And after that comes like the technical aspect of learning to tattoo.
Because like that's the thing. You're going there to learn that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like
Like
I already know everything.
We don't want a guy who's an asshole, but he's a good tattooer at our shop.
Also, I think with those, maybe some of you out there know. Can you fail a tattoo school? Can you pay money, go there, and they're like, no, man, not you. You should be accountant.
Well,
I don't like.
I really doubt it.
Yeah,
because I think there's like I don't think you sign a paper or anything before doing that, but you've paid your money and they're gonna like.
But also,
like whatever.
Also, I think my comparison is that it's like, there's models and there's girls who's like, I finished modeling school, but they for some reason not models, because it's okay. They know what they should know. They have the paper, but if they don't have the skill, the portfolio, the looks, no one's take them. So that's the thing with those tattoo schools. And I heard that England also does these piercing academy and all that stuff, that none of the serious shops like recognize that paper is valid.
Exactly.
They're like, okay, you got some.
I mean, if you finish a tattoo school, well, probably there's gonna be a lot of tattoo shops who are gonna just like, okay, just come and work for us. But any normal tattoo shop, it's not like, cool, you're a good tattooer now.
But that's the same shop who will come. That's the same shop who will take somebody who's like, I want to be apprentice, and they're like, whatever, and then they do like, apprenticeship deals, come in and get your tats done. I remember a story from I think one of first schools or something, like, I don't know if it's true, but sounds reasonable, that somebody who finished that school, like I think it was a girl, and her mom came back to that school and complained that, look, I paid the money, my daughter finished the school, why none of the tattoo shops taking her to work? And they're like, well, there's also other things you should work on, it doesn't guarantee that. It's like they showed what's up, but that from their perspective was like, well, we teach you what you should know, like it's portfolios and that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things, and we had this talk with like our apprentice, who's now a junior tattooer, as you called him. I mean, that there's a lot of things that you learn in a shop. Those things are completely different than the stuff you learn at tattoo schools, probably. I don't know. But it's just like this interaction between tattooers and how, you change the ideas and everything, It's just like, it's more of like this, I don't know how you can call it.
It's like real-time experience.
Yeah, like human behavior experience or whatever, and that's the thing you're not going to learn in any tattoo school, and and that's like that's a really important aspect, of learning to become a tattooer, to be around actual people in the shop. I think so,
Yeah.
I mean, probably there's some people who would go to a tattoo school. Maybe they're really good there, but they go into a tattoo shop environment and everything, they fail like miserably.
Also, I think that school, like we talked with Mass before, like, not that they will harm you, like it's not like they will teach you something bad, but it can be enough to be a tattooist, unless you are some wonderkind, but then you could be good without tattoo school as well.
Yeah. I don't know. For example, I know that there's like a tattoo school in Latvia who is actually run by a really good tattooers, And I give a lot of respect to those tattooers, and I cannot judge anything about that tattoo school and all that stuff, because I respect the artists, but I have no idea, how all of that stuff is happening.
If I'll put up what they guarantee. I think I saw
there's a guarantee thing, yeah.
I think it was like tattooing in real skin in like first week or something like that, and all that stuff. So it's
no, but that stuff happens because I've seen the photos when they have like real like canvases or whatever,
Models.
Yeah. because probably if they fuck up the tattoo, like the teacher's gonna just like repair them. I don't know.
That's also a good question.
Yeah, but
If
anyway,
it's like, oh, okay, C minus.
I mean, like,
Sorry, C minus.
I know that there are some really really fucking really bad shops that are giving like the tattoo school stuff, you know.
Or just some artists who just they barely okay, and they're like
Yeah.
seminars.
Yeah,
I do
exactly.
seminars.
So I mean, who am I to judge like anyone? And I know there's good tattooers who run this tattoo school. So I mean, it's still like a business, you know.
Yeah,
It's still a
like,
business, and that's a thing. And at the end of the day, they I don't think that they kind of that getting a job really easy is a thing that they will guarantee after you finish the school anyway.
and also it's better than do that and then do whatever you want to do
Yeah.
than just do whatever you want to do without any knowledge.
And then on the other hand, you know, for example,
Unless you're watching Tattoo Shop Talk and you know.
yeah. Imagine you're like the super enthusiastic person who wants to be a tattooer, and you got a friend who builds his own tattoo machine or whatever, and he starts tattooing all his friends with the same needle and all the stuff, you know, because he has no other idea how to learn to tattoo.
Thank God now that information is kind of
Yeah,
out there.
yeah. So I mean, like, if a person has no contacts whatsoever with anyone involved in tattooing, and he just searches, like, he just finds like tattoo school, maybe that's okay thing, you know, for him to learn to do it properly.
Yeah, and also like we talked, there's that hand poking tattoo kit thing. I was like, that's a weird idea. Like, how does that make sense? But then you look on their webpage, they have some sort of instruction and like how correct or not correct. But then again, like if you're at 0 and you're like, I'm just gonna take a needle and poke somebody, or I get the thing with some sort of instruction and they guarantee that it's clean. They maybe recommend not to use it on more people and stuff like that. So it's the thing that it's better than nothing.
Basically, the thing with like tattoo schools is like, it's not only white and black, you know. There's
It's fucking gray as fuck.
yeah. It's more gray than black or white, you know. But still, it's not like all that stuff is super bad, or you know, you shouldn't do all that stuff. So I mean, there's probably good examples. We're not like the tattoo judges who can solve it out.
You're not what it takes to be a stink master.
Yes, Dave. Yes, Dave.
Still about learning, one more. Learning on your own or learning from YouTube? Because we got sometimes some people asking like,
Learning from YouTube is still learning on your own.
yeah. Well, it's just like, you know, you have illusion of some sort of advice, but what's missed out on just reading and thinking that you understood things and trying?
Time. Well, that's the main aspect, because I learned by myself without the YouTube, because there was no YouTube. Can you imagine that? No, you cannot probably. There was no YouTube when I started tattooing.
You had that YouTube when you buy it in the shop and it's made of paper and you look
Yes.
through and you see.
And there's small numbers in the corners.
Yeah, and they're not moving.
Some
They're not
numbers.
talking to you. You have to. There's subtitles everywhere, like in
Yeah.
lines and lines.
Glossy.
Yeah.
Now the thing that actually, like, I learned to do it on my own because I was scared to talk to any tattooers. Juris, he was the only person who was my connection to anything related to tattooing, because he got some tattoos.
I got 2 or 3
I
at
think
the time.
more, you know. But anyway, he was my only bridge between actual tattooing and the idea of tattooing. So, any information I asked him, any information I wanted, I asked him. But, like, for example, Juris was the first one who told me, like, you can mix the black ink with the water to make the shading ink. And I was thinking, like, nah, that cannot be real, you know. and I didn't do it for 2 years. Like it took me literally, it took me 2 years to realize that you can mix black ink with the water to make smooth shading.
Also, I remember the guy who was tattooing me at the time. Like, you asked me something.
Yeah.
I was like asking thing, and I was like, oh, I think he will like not gonna be like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck this. And then he's like, oh, like cool, tell him to do that. And he like gave even some stencil papers to give to you. I was like, this is nice.
Yeah.
This is not what I expected.
But what I'm saying is that, like what I had to learn 2 years, that's the thing that new tattooers learn in 20 minutes, so I mean, the main positive aspect of my learning on my own is that I cherish my craft way more than some people do who got it the easy way, but you have to definitely do a research. You shouldn't just find the first guy on the YouTube and just learn from this one guy. You have to how to do line work in YouTube, you have to search for like 15 videos and then have a look, and then find the similarities,
And also even just the line work itself, it can be few different things. Like there's
hundreds of ways of lining.
There's bunch of types of thicknesses of lines. Then in different styles they are done in different ways.
The needles, everything, it's like hundreds of ways how can you do it, so it's important to gather as much information as I can. My first information about tattooing other than Juris was like some tattoo magazines I got from like a punk guy I knew, who was getting into tattooing but then decided to quit. The magazines like ABC of tattooing or whatever, but still it was like just reading, and like when I read it, the image in my head was actually completely something different. It's like they talk about shape, how you shade or do whatever, and in my head it's completely something different that it actually is,
Imagine now a kid finds an old magazine and they say, to color in, you have to do the shape like a telephone wire.
Small circles.
No, but when there's also like the telephone cable.
Okay.
Do you kids know what's the telephone cable?
Fuck. So where's the iPhone cables?
Yeah,
like the charger?
But I think the worst...
And it's crazy because it's just 15 years ago.
Yeah, and there's a telephone cable difference. But yeah, I think the worst thing is that you don't know what you don't know. And then you're like, when you're in a shop, like somebody can tell you something and then you're practicing. And if you're doing it wrong, they can overlook and be like, no, this is what you do. But when you're learning from YouTube or you read on some forums, most of the time they don't see how it's done. Even if you post a picture of the work, they can say it's bad, good, or like whatever, depends on the forum. But they don't know how it's done. And that's where it can be like, and maybe it looks amazing, but you're doing something from the other way around and all that. So that's the benefit of having somebody looking what you're doing, how you're doing.
Yeah, definitely. I remember the funny thing that I was reading all those like super old magazines, Skin and Ink. I remember like all these interviews and everything, and then there's like all these tours, and they're saying, "Oh, this was fun to do. This was fun." At that time, I was just starting out, and I was reading like, "How the fuck can tattooing be fun?" It's just like every line is like.
What do you mean by word fun?
Yeah, it's how can this be fun? Every line is like a nightmare, how to get it like perfect, and then only after like several years and years and years, it's like okay.
But also, it's good that you have that art background and you have standards of what line is a good line.
Yeah, that's also, but I don't necessarily think that like if you're really good at like academical art, you're gonna be a good tattooer. It's not really like that, because like the one thing can fuck up the other, in a way. Also, if you try to imply a lot of the academical art stuff, into tattooing, you can overthink a lot of stuff. You can make it too complicated. You can do things that are not actually necessary for a tattoo to look good. It's mostly that you can it's mostly actually that you have to just like take out some stuff to make a tattoo look good. Like for example, my wife, she's like academical artist, art restorator, and when she looks at like traditional tattooing, she's saying like it just blows her mind, because it's completely opposite of what you learn in academical art, like all the shadows and all the shading and everything. You start from one corner and the next corner it's from the other way, so
I also have seen with following artists that I know for like 10 years or something, and they do that realistic stuff, and it's like it kind of goes more and more realistic from what they start. Like it starts off with some kind of just black and gray or colors, and then it gets to this super soft, super shaded, super faded out stuff, and then it suddenly roughens up and goes back to more lines and all that, because I think and also it goes with them doing art studies, like.
And then we come to the point, what is a timeless tattoo? I think a timeless tattoo is a tattoo that looks like a tattoo.
Yeah, not too soft.
No, I mean, like, you look at something and you say this is tattoo, and you look at something, oh, this is just art on the skin.
Yeah, but also that artsy bit, I think and I heard from them, like, it's a few guys that they say, yeah, well, with time when they heal, it's not really there, but it always comes with they're good at drawing, them particular guys, but I'm talking about like 3 or 4 people. And then they've been good with drawing, they start to tattoo, they start to go a bit more into drawing, they start to do painting and all that, and then they try to imply those techniques into tattooing, and then they get all like weird or too soft or something, and then they kind of like, let's put a line there, that kind of stuff.
See, I have like academical art background, but I try not to push it into tattooing, It's a different thing. It helps me a lot with like, sometimes I think it helps me a lot with the contrasts and the overall composition of tattoos, some small stuff, but other than that, it's not like I'm gonna imply my academical knowledge in old school Grim Reaper.
Yeah, I'm a simple guy. I think the strongest image on the planet is the classic wall art. So
timeless art.
Timeless. There's in the desert, you can see only from the plane a dude with a huge schlong, and it's like it's longer than any tattoo there. So. Beat this motherfucker.
The beginning of all.
Yep. So, what's up? So good tattoo is the tattoo that looks like a tattoo, and good art is the art that looks like a good art. And sometimes you shouldn't cross those things.
Yeah, I have no real explanation why, but I don't know. I mean, there are some tattoos that I look at and just like, I would like my tattoos to have that feel, that look. It's like, I always tell some people that one of the most important things for me when I look at tattoos, for a tattoo to be like a soulful tattoo, to have a soul. And I cannot explain it in any logical way, but there are some tattoos that you look at, it's like, wow, like there's something in this one. And it might be like even done like with shitty lines or something, but there's something in it, And then you look at some tattoos that are done like with the super crisp lines, technically perfect, but you're just like, just soulless, and that's it.
Also, if you see 15 of them in a fucking week, then it's kind of losing its value.
you see like hundreds of roses in a month, and still some of them are like, fuck.
Yeah, but it's not the same rose.
Yeah, but still the image.
What do you think about tattoo schools? Huh? Let us know. And